Welcome to Moms with a Call. We're not here to preach, convert, or fix you. We're here to listen.
We're McKenzie
and Rebecca, two women with messy stories, honest questions, and a quiet hope that maybe Jesus looks a lot more like love than we were ever shown. If you've ever wondered if there's a place for you in all of this, there is. Come, have a seat at the table. You're safe here. You're welcome here. Let's begin. Welcome back to Moms with a Call. Today we have Haley Rae. Do you want to be called Haley Rae or Haley Evans?
Because it's cleaner. I haven't changed my name yet, so people would be like, I don't know this girl.
Haley Rae. Yeah. Okay. Who is this lady? So Haley is a brand and web designer, small business owner, and someone who's really passionate about fighting for and building a life you love. In 2021, she was diagnosed with kidney disease, went into kidney failure, and after spending most of 2025 on dialysis, she received a kidney transplant thanks to a living organ donation from her little sister. She's on a mission to inspire people to live intentionally, protect their energy, and fight for joy no matter their circumstances. She's a wife to her rock of a husband, Matt, who became her caretaker when she was at her most medically fragile, and she believes who you choose as your partner is the most important decision you will ever make in life. She's a dog mom and hopeful human mom. Her dreams of starting a family have been put on pause because of her disease and transplant recovery. She's a pretty open book. Sharing your stories is important. Talking about our health can save lives, and no two paths look the same. So welcome, Haley. Thanks for being here. I'm going to let Arlo in real quick.
Yeah, you're good.
She's gonna keep barking.
Oh my gosh, Haley, how are you?
Doing so good. If you would have asked me a year ago, I wouldn't believe it.
Oh my gosh, are you able to drink all the water?
All the water and coffee. I can have a full cup of coffee now.
Oh my gosh. The little things you
Wow.
take for granted, right?
Life is good.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so excited for you. How long has it been since the transplant?
I got it November 10th. So
Okay.
we're at 5 months. I think 6 months will be May. So almost 5 months.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so almost 5 months. How was the recovery? Was it pretty intense or was it good?
It was kind of hard to begin with. Obviously, it's a very big abdominal surgery, so getting around wasn't easy, but the more I moved, the faster I healed, I think. And also, I was just ready to go. I woke up from surgery feeling really good, a little doped up, but I had almost energy immediately.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad. Well, for those who are listening that don't know your story, would you be able to kind of just walk us through how this all happened, when it happened in 2021, and then your life after kind of diagnosis?
Yeah, for sure. So I was experiencing some really bad migraines, which wasn't really unusual because I have had migraines kind of throughout my life, but they were getting very intense, very frequent. And actually, it kind of came to a head on Christmas of 2020. I just couldn't get out of it. I couldn't do Christmas because I was so sick. And it wasn't just kind of headaches. I mean, I was puking. It was very, to me, normal. But my husband at the time, we weren't married yet, or my boyfriend at the time, he said, "This isn't normal. I'm making you an appointment. We have to figure out what's going on, because this just shouldn't be happening like it is." So he made me an appointment. I say he saved my life because he got me that first doctor's appointment where I was just going in for migraine pills. And as they do when you go into any general practitioner, they took my blood pressure and it was stroke level. And they immediately ordered more tests. And then I got a biopsy on my kidney, and they diagnosed me with stage 3 kidney disease, which is a degenerative disease. They told me there was no cure. I would eventually need a transplant. So I kind of tried to heal. I was doing everything. I was doing acupuncture, juicing. I was taking fiber. I was doing red light therapy. I mean, if Matt found an article on possibly reversing kidney disease, we did it.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately it did not reverse. And I crashed in end of March 2025.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, from there, I had already gotten a fistula in preparation for dialysis, which is where they connect a vein and an artery in your arm. And as I was healing from that, I crashed. My hemoglobin was down to like a 5, and I was in the hospital for blood
Oh
transfusions.
my gosh.
And then they put an emergency chest port in so I could start dialysis in the hospital. From there, I started doing dialysis in a treatment center. And then when my fistula was able to be used, I was able to take out my chest port and then do home hemo dialysis at home. So I did that until my transplant. My little sister, she got tested and she was a match. And so it moved pretty quickly after that.
Oh,
Yeah, and for those who don't know, I believe hemoglobin is supposed to be at like a
Yes.
14. 14, I don't know the exact range, but I know 14 is like the lowest side. And so you were at a 5. That's,
And
oh, I'm so
a nurse
sorry.
came in and
What?
said, "Oh, I've seen a person with a 4 and they died a week later." Which
she
the
said
bedside,
that to you?
she was trying to encourage, like, thank goodness. Um, yeah,
You're like,
You're like,
I don't know how that
yeah.
landed.
So we were cutting it pretty close. Thankfully, I have a very high hemoglobin now.
Oh, good.
so
I'm so
how
glad.
did this even, like, how does kidney disease happen? How do you, is it just genetic?
Some is. There's
Okay.
so many different types. They kind of say everyone has a different kidney disease story. You can get it from an injury if you're in a car accident or you play a sport and there is damage to your kidneys. Mine, they couldn't give me a reason why it happened. They said most likely my blood pressure was out of control and I was getting very bad migraines and medicating that with Excedrin, NSAIDs basically, which are very bad for your kidneys. So if we had to guess,
Mm,
that's what happened was
mhm.
my high blood pressure. But then it's sort of the chicken or the egg. Like, did the kidney disease cause the high blood
Like
pressure?
cause that.
Yeah, or
Hmm.
did the blood pressure
Mm.
cause the kidney disease? So yeah, and it's a silent, they call it the silent killer. There's no symptoms. I was very lucky to have caught mine. Most people don't catch their kidney disease until it's stage 5 and they're in kidney failure and need a transplant
Mm.
very quickly. So I was lucky in that way that I got to kind of be diagnosed soon and prepare. Although I still ended up crashing and on dialysis, just the way it worked
Oh,
Yeah.
out.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
So,
you go ahead.
so what did it look like or feel like after you got that initial diagnosis? Can you walk us through like the emotions of that
Yeah.
and even how it was for Matt as well?
Yeah. Matt is a worrier and I think and went into fix it mode, which, I told you he was researching a lot of things. And at that point, we were just hoping to maintain. When I was diagnosed, I had around 30% kidney function, and we were hopeful to just maintain that as long as possible. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
actually, my nephrologist put me on a medication that 1 in 3 people it tanks you, and I was the 1 in 3. And
Mm.
so
Oh no.
I started failing quickly after taking that medication. The initial, yeah, you're diagnosed and you hear it. It doesn't feel immediate, like because you feel fine. So when
Mm-hmm.
your body crashes, that's different. You're immediately grieving your life before that, but it was more of like a lock. Okay, time to lock in. This could be a while. I
Mm-hmm.
could need a transplant in a year, or I could need it in 30 years. You really just don't know. You're kind of getting ready for this
Mm-hmm.
marathon and locking in and trying to be super healthy and do what you can to maintain your function.
I know you said it wasn't, you didn't feel, other than your migraines, you didn't really have any other symptoms, but I'm sure there was a fear there too, right? Like a fear of the unknown, or no, was there not a fear?
It didn't feel that scary when I was first diagnosed because,
Yeah.
of course, it doesn't sound good, right? Like stage three, we're used to hearing
Mm-hmm.
about stages, and it kind of ends
Mm-hmm.
at four. And but with kidney disease, stage five is the end stage. And so I felt far enough away from that to, and really just trying to stay positive. But yes, not knowing when it's going to hit, there is a fear there for sure, because you just don't
Yeah.
know when the other shoe will drop.
Yeah, I almost think that's, I can't even begin to put myself in your shoes, but I think, that would be so hard to not know. Are you more type A or type B, would you say?
I'm more type
You're
B.
probably creative. Yeah, I was like, you're creative, so it makes, okay, so the fear of it's not like you have to have control over kind of the situation. Obviously, we like control, but
For sure.
yeah, what was the hardest part of going through dialysis, like once you crashed?
Yeah. Well, the energy, there were physical hardships. Like, I mean, and the loss of energy was so gradual because obviously I was failing, like my kidneys were failing incrementally. So it's sort of the
Mhm.
thing where you say you don't know water is boiling until it's bubbling. You don't know that the temperature is getting hot until it's boiling. It's sort of that. So physically, the loss of energy was very hard. My fluid restriction was probably the worst. I couldn't drink more than 4 cups of fluid a day. And that was very strict. I was very strict with that and disciplined with it because it could put pressure on your heart. And a lot of people on dialysis die from heart related issues because they're not, well, dialysis is very hard on the body, but also if you're not kind of maintaining your fluids, then it could cause other issues. And that's what some people die on dialysis. So, but I think the hardest part really was the loss of freedom. You are pretty much chained to a machine for most of the day, 4 days a week. You can travel. I mean, I could take my machine with me, and we did one time. We took it to the lake to visit friends, and it's a lot. And because you don't know how much you need, so you're bringing extra of everything. And yeah, just I would say the loss of freedom. Also, Matt became a caretaker to me, so I wasn't Little Miss Independent anymore. I really had to rely on my husband to do a lot of things for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember just during the time, um, wait, was it this time last year when you were trying to preserve fertility before going on?
Yes,
Are you open to talking
oh,
about it?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously I was diagnosed at 33, and that was always around the time that we thought we would start having a conversation about kids. So it really kind of hit me at that time. And we did go speak to a fertility doctor, and I was so excited. I even have a picture where like we're in the waiting room before, kind of like, oh, this is like before we start getting all of our testing done and all of this. And then there's the doctor was basically like, you cannot carry. This was before I crashed. This was just while I was stage three. And she said, we don't recommend you carrying. There's a lot of risk for the baby. This could push you into kidney failure. It was devastating. It was,
Yeah.
um, yeah, you you grieve that possibility. And so we got the clear from my doctor to pursue IVF. And I don't know, have you guys done IVF or
No, I haven't, but we had
Mm-hmm.
a Rebecca's friend on who did.
yeah.
Dare?
So oh
Yeah.
yes, yeah, my dear. And
Hmm.
she and so it's such a process. I mean, you really think you're gonna go in and just like, okay, give me the medicine and we'll get some eggs in a couple of days or a few weeks or something, but it's really not because you have to time it up with, you have to make sure your body is prepared. You have to time it with your cycles. There's a lot that goes into it. And by the time we started shots, we did 4 rounds of shots, and then I crashed and I was in the hospital. And Actually, we did a round of shots in the hospital because, you know, you can't stop. Once you go, you can't stop, or else you have to like wait for your next
Mm-hmm.
cycle. But then our doctors, after a lot of consulting, made with our fertility doctor, made the decision that it was too risky. I had too much fluid on my body, and it wouldn't be viable anyway. So then so we stopped the first round, which was also devastating. And then
Yeah.
I started dialysis, got settled on it because dialysis to start was very, very rough. You get very sick. It's hard to dial it in for your body, and it takes a while, and you're very sick for as long as it takes to dial it in. And then I became stable on that, and we got the go ahead to try round two. And we did it. We went through it, and then we scheduled our egg retrieval, and they got 3 eggs, and which is not good. Um, and then from there, one was possibly viable. So they would keep an eye on that one egg, and it just, or they fertilized one, I'm sorry, to become an embryo, and it just never grew. So we didn't get any from that first round. Which, if you think back to it, it makes sense because apparently your eggs are a reflection of where your body was 3 months before your retrieval, and I was on death's door. So I don't really know how we got the go ahead for that, but um, now we're waiting to get the next go ahead. It's recommended to wait at least 6 months. So we're almost to that point and where we can start having that.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
How does that feel?
It feels like it will never happen. It feels like,
Mm.
I mean, really, when you get hit so many times with these things, you're just like, is this a
yeah.
sign? It is so hard to not go like, is this a sign? Like, should we just not do this?
Yeah.
And it'd be really easy to not do it. There will be no question, like God, the universe, whoever is in charge of my story is saying this woman will never accidentally become a mother. Like this will be a choice. And I think he knew that I needed to make that decision. Because
Mm.
I just I thought I couldn't have kids. Like I knew it from a young age, which is wild. And
Really?
Really?
yeah, I just had this like this inkling, this fear, this feeling that I never expressed to anybody. It was just kind of this underlying thing, like I don't think I'll be able to have kids. And then we got like our I think we did like a like a reading, and the woman was like, "I see that you are scared you'll never have children." The first words out of her mouth. And I said, yes." And she said, "Don't worry."
And you hadn't told Matt that
No.
before?
Nope.
It was just
And she
okay.
said, because it
Okay.
really was just like how you think, I don't know, maybe you'll marry a blonde guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I just always thought I'd marry a blonde guy. It's like sort of
Just an inkling.
inkling of like,
Yeah.
I just don't think I'll be able to have kids. And she said, "Don't worry, put that thought out of your mind. You will. You'll have your first child will be a boy." And anyway, so I just always knew I wouldn't be able to have kids. And there's a part of me, there is obviously a part of me that's devastated. I've gotten past that. I've found the silver lining. I know that this is my path. But there's also a part of me that's like, see, I told. Well, I didn't tell anybody, but I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. I trusted myself and what I was
Yeah.
hearing.
Hopefully we
Yeah.
can
So,
get back into that soon.
Get your boy.
Yeah, my
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Watch it
Yeah.
be like
Oh
a,
my.
a
Yeah.
girl.
Spitfire of a little girl. Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
story, Haley. Like, I can't even believe how much you've gone through, and
Mhm.
you're still like so you to find the silver lining in all of that and to just have this
Mhm.
positive attitude. But it almost feels like you got this like new lease on life. Like you got this second chance.
Mhm.
And I'm just you're such a fun person. Like even when you were sick, like even before you got the transplant and like I met you, we didn't even talk about how we initially met.
Yeah.
We forgot about that, didn't we? Um,
It's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so we all met back in 2019. 24. Is that right?
Yeah,
That's kind
that
of
sounds
insane.
right.
Like late
Yeah.
2024, after Hurricane Helene, and we were
Mhm.
all working on a nonprofit together. You did the website for Revel,
Yay.
and you do a beautiful job.
Well,
Are you
thank you.
working again?
I am. Yeah, it feels really
Okay.
good. I'm like, she is back. I'm ready to, yeah,
Oh
everything's
my
kind of back and
I
gosh.
love it.
rolling.
Okay, good to know. I will put you in um my back pocket
Yay.
for websites because that would be great. Sorry, I'm like ADD this morning. I don't know what's going on with me. Um, but yeah, we all met there, and so even then, like you had kidney disease, but it was like you were maintaining.
Yeah.
Maybe you were getting sicker, but you never let it show. And then even on your social media, and I know that social media can be like a highlight reel,
Yeah.
but you're just so like upbeat and positive. And how do you maintain that? How did you keep that
Yeah.
mindset through all of
I
it?
think you really have, like, I made a decision, you know? There
Mhm.
were, whenever, well, especially the fertility stuff, I just, like, one time just had to take a weekend and I just didn't get out of bed. And
Mhm.
because it's so much to process and work through. And in therapy, I learned you just have to feel it. Like the more you push it off, the longer you're putting it off. And I just let it go through me, and I would take days to really kind of process, but I
Yeah.
also really wanted to protect my life. Like, this is happening to me. I'm not in charge of my body right now. Like, I can't control what's going on in my body, but I can control my mindset. I can control
Mhm.
how I show up today. I can control, like, whether or not I'm going to snap at the checkout person at Trader Joe's because I'm
Yeah.
having a bad day. You know, I get to choose that. And so I made a decision that I'm going to take what I need to process, but I'm going to fight for joy because honestly, I love my life so much. And I feel so grateful. Even before all of this, I was so grateful to love where I live, to have a job that I love, to have the partner I have, to, to live in a home that feels like me. Like to have running water, all these things. I was so grateful that if this was the worst thing that happened to me, then I could deal with that. Like, if not being able to carry a child is the worst thing that happens to me, then I'm okay because I have all these other things. And who gets to have everything, you know? And I loved what I did have so much that I was going to be okay with what I didn't have. And I just made a decision. And I make friends with people who are on dialysis now or who have just had kidney transplants, people who are starting their dialysis journey. And I'm telling them, you have to make a decision. How are you going to, what's your mind going to be like? They're going to be bad days and there's going to be dark days, and you're going to debate whether or not it's worth being here, but it is.
Yeah. It is worth being here. You're so strong
Yeah.
to be able, and too, like, to be able to be that for other people, even though you're still freshly off of that. I think that strength is incredible, but it's also really hard to have to hold that strength all the time too, even on those bad days. And so I'm wondering, like, who did you talk to on those dark days? Was it Matt?
But yeah, Matt,
Yeah.
and this is where, I mean, when I say I think who you choose as your partner is the most important decision, because it's not just who shows up to your doctor's appointments or like, it was on those days where it was easier to just stay in bed, and Matt would go, let's just go for a ride. Like, let's just get in the car and go for a drive. Let's just see some sun today. And it was just
Mm.
20 minutes in a car that would like put me back into my day or make me be more present, and little things like that. Yeah, Matt was very helpful. My therapist was very helpful.
Mhm.
Honestly, like the dialysis nurses and techs were
Yeah.
amazing because they've seen it all. They've seen, and they're kind
Mhm.
of able to go like, you're doing okay. You know, you are going to be okay. And I trust and believe them because they've seen so many people and that was sitting in the chair that I was sitting in. and
Mhm.
she's seen them go on to be okay. Or, yeah, I think being open to the kindness of strangers too, or your community, just knowing that there's people that aren't going to let you fall too far. Yeah, it was very helpful.
Yeah. I remember Phoebe and I came to see you before your transplant, and we hung out with her and Matt for a while. Walked around your property and saw Matt's office and everything, and just kind of hung out with you guys. It was so special. But one of the things that really stood out to me that you said was, I almost wish that more people could experience this kind of hardship, because the newfound appreciation that I have on life and on my marriage and my community, it's just different. So can you kind of elaborate on that
Yeah,
for
for
us?
sure. And it's hard to word that because obviously you don't wish that anybody would go through a hard time.
Right.
But
Right.
and I the people that I know who have been chronically ill or have gone through what I've gone through, or cancer, so I can't speak for everybody, but my friends who have also gone through this or something similar, it's kind of the same thing. They say the same. It's all, there's this like beautiful gift in it, in that
Mm.
this could all be taken away. And we all know that, right? Like we walk through life knowing, sure, I could get hit by a truck tomorrow, or I could have a heart attack tomorrow. I mean, but really, we don't like believe it, like
Mhm.
Right. Right.
I'm pretty healthy. I mean, if I had a heart attack tomorrow, I'd be, you'd be shocked. But yeah, we all walk through life knowing that today could be our last day. Live every day like your last.
Mhm.
But that was very real for me. And I've seen it, when you're sitting in a hospital for a week and you haven't smelled fresh air, and you are eating jello, and just stepping outside and seeing the flowers is like beautiful. Or, I just would wake up every morning at my sickest, and have a shower, and we have an outdoor shower, and so I'd go outside in the shower and I'd look up into the trees and thank God for this day. And even though I knew it was going to be a really hard day, and I got to be there, and I think it's so important to fight for little moments of joy. And I don't know, even just like the sun shining today. It's not cold today, the sun is shining, and that he sent me that butterfly as a reminder. Anyway, yeah, I think I do wish that everybody could get a glimpse into what it feels like to almost be taken away from this earth, and the people that you love in it. And then you kind of get this, even when you're sick, you're still here and getting to enjoy it. And now I just get that every single day, and I feel good. And yeah, and then as far as the community piece, ooh, I was so independent. I did not want to be a burden to anybody. That's kind of how I saw things. I didn't want to burden anybody. I didn't want to make the ask. I didn't want to put anybody out. No, it's fine. I'll do it. No, no, no. You don't need to bring anything, that sort of thing. And, but when you are reliant on other people, I mean, truly reliant, is so beautiful, because people want to love you. They want to show you love. And I realized people couldn't really help me. This was what it was my mental battle. It was my physical battle. And short of really coming and folding my underwear, I mean, which I would never ask anybody to do. It's like, what, I mean, I'm not going to make you do my dishes, So, but yes, I would really love for you to drop off a flower on my doorstep, or just little tokens of, this is how I want to show you that I'm here. Yeah, it was just really beautiful. People dropping off food. I got cards in the mail from strangers, people that didn't know me but knew my story. And I don't know, it was just so beautiful. And relying on people, I never thought I'd be that person. And now it's one of the things that brings me the most joy, is letting people feel like seen in that way, by accepting that love and going like, sure, I would love for you to, not anymore, I'm good now, but at my lowest, Absolutely. I would love a casserole. That's so kind. And before I never would have felt good about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like just taking it all in. It's I think it's so common for people to, and especially in our world, to be independent and not want to be a burden, and we've kind of cut off that community aspect a lot, whereas even 20, 30, 40 years ago, community was a huge, and even if you think back even thousands of years ago, we would not have, nobody would have been able to survive without their community. And
Mhm.
so I think that's a really good reminder that we are meant to be connected. We are meant to lean on each other. We're not meant to live in isolation. And
Mhm.
so even for
Mhm.
me too, and for everybody listening, I think just hearing your story and hearing how important that connectedness and community is too, in addition to mindset, but it all kind of plays into your mindset. It's so inspiring. And so I would just love to hear, like, and we've talked about God, I guess, a little bit through this, but where was your faith through all of this? Like, would you consider yourself religious or more just in faith or?
Yeah. I talk to God, and I I think it's almost I think it's nearly impossible to go through something like I did and not feel him.
Mhm.
I like at my lowest just asked for help because it just was so hard, and I knew I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't carry it by myself. And and that's when things got better for me mentally. It was also my lowest physical point. I had a chest port, my arm was sliced open, my fistula was healing. I had just started dialysis and was very sick on dialysis. You're dealing with this diagnosis, and I'd been diagnosed, but I wasn't, I'd been diagnosed in 2021, but it's not this immediate feeling. It's not, you're in no pain. You're not even aware of it. Nothing hurts. Um, and I was just at my lowest physically and mentally. And I was just thinking, like, what kind of life is this? But I never was like, why me? I never thought that. And even in therapy, I was like, well, I don't like to kind of focus on on the unfairness of it all. And she was kind of like encouraging it, like, no, but it is unfair. And I'm like, but I don't think it's that unfair. Everybody has hard things. This is just my hard thing. I mean, why am I special to not have something very difficult to go through? And anyway, yeah. So I definitely felt God with me. A lot of my nurses were very spiritual, religious. In the medical space, I think there is a lot of that. People, I mean, nurses, they see a lot of things. I think that they have seen, I'm sure, more miracles than um, not. I don't know. It's hard to be
Yeah.
going through that and not trust and rely on something
Mhm.
bigger than you, because I didn't do
Mhm.
this to me. This came from nowhere. I ate carrots as a snack. I was pretty
Yeah.
healthy, there was no indicator that I would have something like this wrong with me. This was given to me. And I think I chose to look at it as, okay, well, this is mine. And what am I going to do with it? And I think that was God saying, like, this is purpose. I'm giving you purpose, you know? Because it's like kind of hard to find purpose in making brand and websites. You're just like, I mean, it's great work and I love what I do, but I mean, I'm not like curing cancer over here. And I struggled with that a little bit, kind of like what is like my value if I am making things beautiful, and I love that, and that's something I enjoy doing, but am I changing anybody's life? Am I really helping to better anything? And yeah, I don't know. I think sharing my story is making a difference. I think even on healthy people, people who aren't dealing with medically hard things, they're still saying thank you. I'm watching your videos and I'm inspired to live more intentionally or to be
Yeah.
grateful for what I have. And I mean, a few people have kind of said like it could always be worse, sort of. And it's like, and it's true. Like things can always be worse. Even for me, even what I went through, I still feel like I got off pretty easy. There's people who have been on dialysis for 20 years. There's people who aren't candidates for transplant and they'll be on dialysis for the rest of their life. I found my donor pretty quickly. I was only on dialysis for 7 months. And it's really hard while you're on it. But looking back, I mean, that's a blip, you know? So, yeah.
You remind me of when people say someone who's really connected to God, even through hardship, it's not even the words you're using, it's the body language. It's like your aura. Because I remember being around you when you were sick and then being around you since your transplant. And it's almost like your light is brighter, but your spirit is the same. Like I can still feel that connectedness to God there. And you were like a living proof of just watching someone be in faith and how they embodied joy. And I think you did a really good job of balancing like authentic vulnerability and not dismissing the hard things, but choosing the joy, and seeing that balance was kind of wild in person. But your prayers every morning, it really reminds me of like what Paul was saying repeatedly to the churches in like Colossians and Ephesians and all of it. He talks so heavily about gratitude and it actually being like not only just healing, but a weapon. It's the hardship and what you're going through. And so my mind immediately went there. But I just want to say I'm so proud of you. I'm almost at a loss for
I know.
words and rambling,
That's how
but
I feel too.
I'm truly so proud
Thank
of
you.
you and everything you've been through, and Matt as well, and just seeing you guys show up for each other and show up for your friends. I mean, at Matt's birthday party last weekend, he was just like thanking everybody. And I'm like, no, we feel so grateful to know you guys and to be, a part of this with you guys. It just feels effortless. And I'm just so grateful to know the both of you, truly.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's like we'll never be able to put words to how grateful we are to people. And I've been on the other side, I've been the helper. I've been the person that shows up, and I know how it feels to feel useful, I guess, when someone's in a very hard place. But as the receiver, I mean, it just that gift basket or those flowers, I feel that every single day, like it's not just this one thing you drop off. Like it was like you gave me this invisible like ball that just lives in my home and like I feel it all the time, and it's impossible to express enough gratitude for how people care and like prayed for me and for us, and it's just it's so hard to put into words, and it is hard to, because obviously you've seen me cry talking about how hard it was for me, and you might look at my Instagram and you maybe not see that, right? And I've tried to come to terms with that, like as you're telling your story, as you're choosing what to share, I am like, well, there have been very hard days and I don't want to brush that over. But in those days, there was always gratitude. There was always love. There was always hope. And also, when I was at my lowest, I wasn't recording myself. Matt was holding me, not a tripod. It's like it is hard to show that because there's just no footage of that. There's no, yeah. So I hope I did a good job of not making it look like it was easy because it wasn't, but I'm just so grateful. I really am grateful for the experience. It taught me so much. It gave me so much more than it took.
Yeah. My gosh. No, I think you've done a beautiful job of explaining like how important like the mindset piece of it is, and staying positive and having that gratitude, and seeking, you know, that energy. When you were saying that ball, that invisible ball, all I could think was the energy that people were giving you, that love. And but at the same time, you've done a great job balancing the hardship and how hard it is. But I love what you just said. Like, it gave more than it took. And like, just no notes on that. Like, no notes. No
Yeah,
notes.
no, it was so good.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
I kind of want to dive into the transplant side of things, like receiving that from your sister and how you guys went through that together physically and emotionally in your family. Um, I was mentioning I was at Matt's birthday party with Haley last weekend, and I kept asking her all these questions. I was like, okay, I need to slow my roll
Oh, we said
because
Save it for
I'll
the
be asking
podcast.
about this in a few days. Yeah, I was like, okay, stop. But I am just so curious about how that
Yeah.
all went
So
down with
I
your
think it's
sister.
funny, you know, when I was diagnosed in 2021, I obviously told my family, I told friends, and I think nobody really knew how, well, because it didn't feel, I don't want to say serious, but it didn't feel like the death sentence that like dialysis felt like, even though it's not a death sentence, but it didn't feel like that. It felt more like, okay, you might be able to hold this off for 20 years, you know? You could maybe not need a transplant for
Yeah.
30 years, depending on how well this maintains. And so I think my family was obviously there for me, but I don't think it, or maybe it's how I worded it, it didn't feel dire. And then as updates would come in, I'd be like, okay, well, you know, my function's dropping, and it was a lot of love, but still there was no like, what are steps? And and then I was told it was time soon to get on the transplant list when my function dropped around 15%. They said it's time to start getting worked up to get on the transplant list. You have to choose a few hospitals and you can get worked up these places. And I told my family, and it still felt more like, but you have time. You have time. These things aren't going to happen like next week. You have time. And then I crashed and I was in the hospital. I was in the hospital for 1 week, and then I was home for a week, where I just slept in bed all day. My hemoglobin was so low, we didn't know it, and I was very unwell. That prompted us to do more labs. Again, Matt kind of stepped in and said, "This also is not right. Let's get labs tomorrow. Let's like rush these labs." And that's when they found my hemoglobin was too low. I was back in the hospital for a transfusion, and then I had a bunch of fluid in my lungs, and then I was back to do dialysis. We couldn't put it off anymore. So it was like a few crashes back to back, and that's when it got very serious, I think, for my family. And that's when they were like, what do we do? And my mom got worked up. Actually, no. Is this right? No, I'm sorry. My mother and my sisters started getting worked up before I crashed. I'm sorry, I'll scratch that. I was told I need to be put on the transplant list. I got my fistula surgery. And then that's when, my gosh, what is the timeline of this? I'm really sorry, guys.
It's okay.
No, it's okay. You would have got your fistula to start dialysis,
Yes,
right?
but I got it a little too late. Like my
Mm.
nephrologist was like, you have time. You have time. You have time. And then it was like, oh, you don't have any time. Like, you need to get this surgery. And it takes like 6 weeks to heal before I could even use it for dialysis. So even then it felt like, but you have time. You have at least 6 weeks. So my mom and both my sisters and actually a few other people were getting worked up. I think this is around the time my first video came out, when I was told I needed a
Mm.
transplant, but I hadn't yet crashed. I was told it was time.
Mm.
It's time to get a transplant. I was about to get my fistula. My mom and both my sisters and a few friends started getting tested to see if they're a match. But it takes a while. Like, it's not a short process. It takes a long time. My mom found out first that she would not be a good match because she had some buildup outside of her kidney, and she wouldn't do well with one kidney, I think, is what the issue was. My mom was like gung ho. She's thinking like, I am going to save my
It's like, I
daughter's.
don't care.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Here's your
Of course. Yeah. I'll be fine with the one kidney that
Yeah,
won't
I
do
mean,
well. Like that's
every
fine.
time-
Yeah. Makes me want to
Oh,
cry
know.
yeah,
almost.
he was
Like,
just, and my dad couldn't because he had like a skin cancer like removed from his face. Cancer is just like a non-start for transplant
yeah.
donors. If you've had any sort of cancer, you're not a candidate. And so my dad was just like a non-start. My mom, and now that I'm thinking of it, they started getting tested way before I crashed, because actually my little sister had to lose a little, they wanted to see her lose a little bit of weight because she's very young. She's 28. And they were like, we want to make sure that you can maintain like a healthy lifestyle. So we're going to give you 3 months to lose, I don't remember how much it was, maybe like 20 pounds. And then we're going to reevaluate you.
It's a lot of weight to lose in 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she went all in. I think she lost the majority of it in 2. I mean, she was so
Wow.
excited. She got a meal plan from a registered dietitian. She was meal prepping. She couldn't wait. She was going all in. And so my
Oh my
sister,
gosh, that makes me want to cry too.
so all my family was very excited to get tested, and it's such a long process. I mean, you really are just waiting. Anything medical, I feel like you just better get comfortable waiting. There's just a lot of waiting.
It's like, hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why you can't let this ruin your mindset, because there's so many just normal days in between test results or in between waiting for your next appointment. It's like I can't be like a bummed out downer for 3 months. Like, I mean, I gotta live. And so how do you do both, right? Anyway, so my sisters and my mom were so excited to get tested. My mom found out first that she was not a candidate. And basically, my little sister got approved before my older sister. And it's really cute. She was kind of like, well, maybe we should let Heather, like, find out. And I was like, girl, no, we gotta go. Like, I'm on dialysis. I can't wait around another, like, 3 months. She was like, she wanted to have the shot, too. Well, maybe we should just, like, because they both were like, I'm going to donate my kidney to you. And especially my older sister, she was kind of dealing with feelings of like, I'm the older sister. It should be me. And then my little sister going like, well, I'm the baby. It should actually be me because I am younger and like can maybe bounce back a little faster. So it's kind of funny seeing them both kind of be like, no, it should be me.
Argue over who's giving the kidney.
So basically, my little
That's so
sister
sweet.
got approved before, yeah, and then from there, it was like they told her you can pick a date because we need to make sure we're working on your schedule, and from there it was like 6 weeks out. So as soon as she was approved, it started going very quickly, and yeah, I mean, just wild getting that phone call, and it's actually funny the way it worked because she was gonna find out on like a Friday. And she says, well, I should know by end of day Friday. But I had friends visiting, and I was like, if I get bad news, I'm going to just not be well all weekend. And I have people staying with me. Would you hold on to this news until Monday? And she was like, all right. And so she did. So on Monday, she was like, are you free? I need to call you. And cause I'm thinking, I've been the 1 out of 3, the 1 out of 5. I've been the person that bad things happen to. That it works for everybody, but it doesn't work for me. I was doing this electromagnetic like stim. It's been so long I can't remember what it was, but it helps. My doctor was telling me, he's a functional medicine doctor, but he said, oh, I just had a patient last week. They went from stage 4 to stage 3. Like, this is working for people, and it's not working for me. Like, so I've been the person that for a long time that I got good at getting bad news. And so I was really preparing for it to not be a match. And I knew if I got that call and she was not a match, I would be in bed. I would take my weekend and I would need to process that. And so she did. She held off until Monday and she called me. So getting that call just was kind of unreal. And it didn't feel real. I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want to, anything
Yeah.
could happen in 6 weeks. I mean, I just was preparing for it to not, even up until people were like, aren't you so happy? And I'm like, I will not be relaxed until I'm about to get wheeled into the operating room. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what you said to us when we were over there. Yeah. And I was like, that's so real, though. Like,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me after all you've been through.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then did you have that moment when you were getting wheeled in that you were like, "Oh my gosh, it's actually happening."
yeah,
This is happening.
yeah, it was really hard. We'd all been crying. And because, so my surgery was in Durham. Duke took such good care of both of us. They're amazing. If anybody's listening to this and is looking for a transplant hospital, Duke is incredible. And we kind of, obviously now my parents have two daughters going under the knife on the same day, like two major abdominal surgeries. My dad was a wreck, like
I
kind
can't
of,
even imagine.
yeah. And so wanted, we had a phone call, like a FaceTime, and I said to with the whole family, and I said, look, this has affected every single person in our family. Like, what do you need to, like, what also do you need to feel good about? Because we all got an Airbnb, um, like right next to the hospital, so that when Hunter, my little sister, she would get discharged before me, she could go and rest and have people taking care of her while I was still recovering in the hospital. And yeah, it was like a family affair. We all got an Airbnb. Obviously, I was in the hospital the whole time, but so there was a lot of crying, as you can imagine. It's a lot of emotions and there's no words for this other than like thank you 1,000 times. There's no words. There's no word for it of what it means to have somebody give you a piece of their body so that you can stay alive. And for it to come from my little sister. Um, yeah, it was very emotional. Also, it was at like 4:30 in the morning when you get to the hospital, so you're just tired and waiting. And Hunter went back first, and then I went back, and they prep you and all this, and they wheeled her over to see me before, and that's when I kind of lost it a little bit. Yeah, and you're preparing. There's a lot of mental preparation because, I'm thinking I could die on this table. Like, there's no guarantee that I'm coming out of this. And am I okay with that? And there's so much letting go and like surrendering to what is going to be. And, but yeah, I did have that sort of like, okay, something's about to happen one way or another. We'll hope it goes one way, but I'm okay too if it goes the other way because I know people know that I love them and that like I've had a good life and yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like so
Gosh.
much
It's
of this is
incredible.
dark.
No, this is great. This is
No,
great.
no, it's
I don't
not
think it's dark at all.
actually.
I feel like it's actually so much light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same. So what does life look like now, Plant?
It's good.
Mentally, physically, spiritually, all the
I
things.
have it's funny, like I have this overwhelming gratitude. It's more like a blanket that covers me now, where before it was like a pebble I picked up every day. Like it was something that I had to pick up and hold and like clutch and hold on to this gratitude. And like I was picking them up all day. I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, and like just keeping them in my pocket or in my hand, just like clutching onto it. And now it's this blanket. I felt like my gratitude practice was stronger when I was sick, before transplant, but I know it's so much deeper now. And um, yeah, life is good. I mean, it's been an adjustment. I think Matt and I are still a little like gun shy. I don't know if that's the right word, where it's hard to get back into things. I mean, I took a while to get back to work because there's a big possibility for infections and complications and I've made friends with people who have gotten transplants and they've been in and out of the hospital with infections and very sick. And I just feel like I got off so easy. I mean, I'm dealing with a couple of side effects from my medications. I'm on anti-rejection meds and will be for the rest of my life. And there's always, gonna be something. But it's not dialysis. That's pretty nice. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
one of my medicines, you have a high chance of getting skin cancer. So it's a ton of sunblock. Like my summer is definitely gonna look different. But yeah, just little changes like that. A lot of gratitude, a lot of energy, which I know you picked up
Mm-hmm.
on, but I just feel like I can do anything. Sometimes I have to remember that I only have one kidney, or actually I have three, but I have one functioning kidney. They don't take them out.
Interesting.
Oh, they don't. I didn't
I
know
didn't know that
Yeah.
either.
Why is
It's
that?
just too complicated. Like it would open up, like they're not doing any bad being in there. They will just atrophy.
They're just not
Yeah, and
working.
actually
Yeah.
atrophy and like shrink. But yeah, and my new kidney is in the front. So it's like in my like pelvis. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. Is it still so it's
That is
connected? They're all
interesting.
connected to
No,
each
they
other?
they
No?
connect like my kidney to like my bladder, urethra, like all that stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so my old kidneys, my origin kidneys are not like, well, they were at 3%, so they're definitely not functioning now. And they're not doing any work.
Interesting. So they just
That
disconnect
is
them
so.
and then leave
Yeah, I
them
think
there
so.
and then connect the new
No,
one.
they just don't
Unless
work.
you have like a kidney cancer, they would take the kidneys out. Or if there's a
That's
couple
so
other reasons
interesting.
why they would take the origin kidneys out, but none of them applied to me. So they just
That's
left
so
mine in.
interesting.
Isn't that weird?
So you
Yeah.
have three,
I
That
do have three,
is
but only one
three.
works.
but one works. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
And she's working
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. How's
Yes.
Hunter doing?
Yeah.
She's so good. Yeah, she said she kind of forgets that she has one kidney. Yeah, there's a little bit of recovery too on her end. She had more incisions into her abdomen than me. I had one big long one and she had three small ones. And yeah, there's a bit of obviously like her energy dropped for a little bit because she's going from two kidneys to one. And it dropped a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but then balanced out. It's really great. You always hear you only
Yeah.
need one kidney, but you're kind of going like, well, why do we get two? But it's true. She's
Yeah.
thriving. If anybody's
Yeah.
listening and considering um, being a donor, you can do that, save somebody's life, and you can talk to my sister. She'll tell you she feels amazing.
Yeah. Is she like involved with anything as far as a community of people that have been donors
That I know
or
of.
okay.
No, she is young, working. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I think she was an athlete in college, so or all through her life, but I think she like had a goal and she was gonna like get to that goal. She watched a lot of YouTube videos on the surgery, which shocked me.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
Kudos to
yeah,
her.
'cause she wanted to know exactly what was going to
Ignorance is
happen,
bliss.
and I said, "You
Honestly,
are
I would probably do
wild."
the same
Yeah.
thing.
Oh my goodness, no. I was like, we are different people. I do not want to know that.
Yeah.
So she prepared in different ways. But I
Yeah.
think maybe that's something that could be in the future, maybe. Because I have a friend who's a living kidney donor. She donated to her cousin many years ago, and now I think she sits on the board for the Willie Stargell Foundation, and she's very involved in that community. Yeah, like the donation community. So maybe it's
Amazing.
something that she'll like get into
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, there's time.
for sure.
There's
If that's
time.
her
Yeah.
path.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
lots of time.
Yeah. You mentioned when we were together part of like the healing and little things that would pop up like turning in your dialysis equipment. Um how has the healing looked like in that regards after transplant?
Yeah, I think I am curious more than anything how it will manifest because
Okay.
you're processing a lot for a long time. And now it hits me at weird points. Like I could talk about this and not cry at all. I could, and then and then I'll have moments where little things come up and they just feel so raw, and I'll cry about it. So obviously there's still some processing left to do, or like there's just a lot of feeling and a lot of emotions that come up with not only just what I went through, but what other people went through too. Like my husband becoming a caretaker and switching from like sexy fun time Matt to like medical, what's your blood pressure? You know, did you take your medicine this morning? To being like a caretaker, sticking 15 gauge needles in my arms 4 times a week. I mean, and so he went through a lot too. My sisters with in preparation, and my mom for in preparation for becoming a donor, and anybody in, because I don't know who all got tested, and whoever did, thank you so so much, because they don't tell me that because they wouldn't want me to like pressure somebody to be a donor. So many people were involved in this, and that feels weighted, not heavy but weighted. And yeah, little moments pop up like sometimes it's still hard for me to walk into my dialysis room, that my equipment's not in there anymore. We returned that to the dialysis center, and it's still kind of hard for me to walk in there just because it, I don't know, there's just a lot that room represents. And yeah, so I think it's definitely going to be a process. And yeah, I don't really know how to work through that other than to just feel it as it comes and see if it digests.
Yeah.
I think that in a way, you need to, not you need to, but I think it could help to maybe try and reclaim that room, reclaim the energy in that room, invite, the God and our source into there and sit in gratitude. And I I can't even imagine what it would feel like to go into a room where so much trauma really did happen to you, and how even though you have not mentioned it as trauma once during this thing, but it was very traumatic, I think, what you went through.
Yeah.
How do you feel like when I guess I just referred to it as trauma. Does
Yeah.
that make you feel weird?
No, I think that it is real. I think that, and somebody actually mentioned it to me the other day. My friend is a breast cancer survivor, and she told me, because I had mentioned, I've had a hard time going into that room, and she said, I mean, I'm in there. It's a storage room now, so like I have a lot of stuff in there. So I'm in there grabbing stuff, and but and she said, it's real what she went through. It's very common to have PTSD, and I would be interested if there was a name for it, if that's what it is. And I think there's just a part of me that's sort of like, maybe I can't claim that because I feel so lucky to have survived this. Like, and I know that survivors have PTSD, like people who didn't survive can't have PTSD. And I think that's what I need to work on too, is kind of like, I just
Yeah.
feel like maybe it doesn't, like, I can't claim it because
Hmm.
I just feel so lucky. And I feel like I got off so easy. And but I do recognize that there obviously, like, I do believe that there was some trauma, or yeah, it's just a lot to process. And it was blow after blow after blow after blow after blow after blow after blow. I mean, you're just like, I joked that I just felt like one of those little wobble dolls that just like got blown over and then just like came back up. I just felt like one of those inflatable
Yeah.
wobble dolls, and you just take the
Well,
hit. Oh,
Yeah.
you're doing a great job. I don't think there's any one right way
yeah.
to process this, to claim, to not claim, to reclaim.
Mm,
Like you're doing a I think a wonderful job.
thank you.
And so you should be so proud of yourself. I know that's probably
Yeah.
annoying to hear, but
No,
you really should be so proud of yourself for how you've handled this and how
thank
you are
you.
handling this.
Yeah, I'm so proud of myself. I think also because I consider myself, even before all of this, considered myself to be a mentally strong person. And there was a time, and I told Matt, like, I think I'm the most mentally strong person I know, right? And I'm like struggling. Like, I don't know how people do this without community, without a partner. there's people that do this alone, so they can't do it at home. They have to go in the clinic. And that takes up so much more time, you guys. Like doing dialysis in a clinic is so much harder than doing it at home. And it's just people do this alone all the time, and I just do not know how. And yeah, so I am very proud. I'm so proud of Matt. I'm so proud of my friends. I'm so proud. And and I had some people that I didn't expect that surprised me. They didn't show up for me. And it it's
Yeah.
like there's no anger. I'm not keeping score. It's just like, "Oh, in 7 months I didn't hear from you." That's hard. And okay, I
Mhm.
misread this. And that's okay, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've shown you who you are and you believe them
Yeah.
now.
Or like I thought we had a deeper connection, but we don't. Or like I just misread this and or now I know. Like you've been very
Mm-hmm.
important to me, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess I'm not like that important to you. Or or you didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what to say to me. Or and I that's a very real thing. People don't know what to say to you when you're sick. And that's I honestly I have so much compassion for people because they're just like, you look good and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Like, I know you're trying to, I know I've been there.
Yeah.
And even sometimes I still do it. Like, somebody was sick and I was like, well, let me know if you need anything. And I'm like, you don't say that, And I'm like, okay, I will bring you soup tomorrow. So it's still, even being on the other side of that, you're still kind of making these whoopsies. But yeah, I give people so much like compassion and empathy for not knowing what to say or how to show up. But yeah, it is information and going like, okay, well, I feel like maybe we're not seeing our friendship the same way. And I'm going to now pour my energy into the people who showed up for me. And like
Yeah.
and that's just what it is.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think we can all take that lesson with us
Oh,
for
for
sure.
sure. It's hard to expect like you give so much to other people and sometimes you don't get it in return. So I know exactly how that and then but not even at the sickness level, but just in
Sure.
like the hardship
Totally.
level when you're going through hardship, right? And so then to add the illness on top of it. So I'm sorry you went through that, but I think it says a lot about your compassion and your grace now that you have for them. And it's like, hey, look, no hard feelings. I get it. Like, I just wish things were different.
And it was black and white, where I think like if I this made everything very black and white for me, which I never really lived in the black and white. It was always like
Mm-hmm.
I always give the benefit of the doubt, or like maybe they're busy, or like they've got a lot going on. Who cares? And now I'm like,
No,
oh no
you
no,
had kidney disease.
that's probably the worst thing that could have happened to me. I mean, bar some really some deaths and like in the family and stuff like that. Like, and God forbid none of that happens. But outside of all that, this is as bad as it could get for me. It got as bad as it could get, and yeah. So that made it black and white, kind of like, oh, you didn't wish me happy birthday. I do not care. Like that's very gray, kind of like, oh, you
Yeah.
had a busy day. But oh no, you didn't like check in on me one time when I was on my deathbed for almost a full year. Okay, yeah, we're maybe not as close as I thought we were.
Gosh.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very normal way to process that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I do want to ask, well, there's the closing questions I think are important of what would you say to someone who is currently facing like a
Yeah.
life-altering diagnosis?
um, you probably don't want to hear this, and it you probably don't want to deal with this right now, but you got to get your mind right. Like, you're not in control of your body, you are in control of your thoughts and like how you choose to, I don't know. And like that, it doesn't sound that encouraging, but it's the best advice I could give because that's what got me through the darkest days. And that life looks different now, but it's not over. And I think you could, yeah, just try to find pockets of joy and moments where you feel like yourself and hold on to those moments and try to create them for yourself as much as possible because you're going to feel not normal and you're going to grieve your life before this. So if you can get little pieces of that back, I would do that. And rely on people. Like let people help you. ask for help. You can't do this alone, not for long anyway.
What about for people that are the community side? So people that have a loved one that's sick, or just recently diagnosed. What advice would you give them?
I mean, I feel like Matt could probably give a better answer for this, but I guess like accept that things are going to change, and and really I would say like nothing lasts forever. Like there were so many different phases to what I went through, and I'm sure there are with a lot of other illnesses or major illnesses, but there's phases, and nothing's permanent. And we know that. Like even for healthy people, nothing's permanent. But also for people who are sick or people who are taking care of their partners, just try to hang in there. Nothing lasts forever. It could literally all change tomorrow. And yeah, I guess, and also let them know that they're not a burden to you, because that is, I think, a big thing that sick people feel and battle, is not wanting to be a burden. So just like maybe reassure them that they are not a burden, that that's what love is, and you're going to get through it together.
Oh, I love that. And then before we ask the last question, just one more question for friends too, like for people who aren't the direct caregiver. Was there something that somebody did that was really helpful for you other than maybe the food or the flowers, or just them asking you or praying? Like what do you recommend if you're like, look, you want to be supportive to the person, but you also don't really know what to say, and you don't want to burden that person?
Yeah. I would honestly, what I think surprised me to really enjoy was just random drop offs. Like, and that's hard to do with food,
Mm,
but like
yeah.
literally just a couple of hand-picked flowers, or just something that was like, I was here and I was thinking of you. And
Mhm.
like those surprised ones were really thoughtful. And yeah, other than like a drop off, like yeah, letting them know, all literally the text just has to say, I'm thinking of you. You don't have to offer anything, because sometimes it does put the burden on the sick person or the person in need to feel like it's almost like coming up with busy work, where you're like, okay, well, I know
Yeah.
they really want help, so what can I have them do? And you're kind of racking your brain like, well, I guess, do we need milk? And so
Yeah.
yes, all
Yeah.
you have to do is say, I'm thinking of you. And yeah, and I think that's like literally all you have to do. And also letting them know, I know you're not well right now. This will not change our friendship. I will be here when you get better. Like, I'm here while you need me, because I couldn't be a good friend. For almost a year, I
Yeah.
couldn't show up for people. And that was also very hard. You're literally getting bombarded with love, and I can't like return that.
Reciprocate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so knowing that my friendships are safe on the other side of that,
Hmm.
and just feeling like I can press pause if I need to, and everything's going to be okay on the other side. I think that is beautiful too.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like I'm
me too.
here. If you need me, you ask. I am thinking of you.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna. There's gonna be things I do that you don't even need to ask. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just do random things, of course. But I'm here. Don't feel like you have to reach out to me or like
Yeah.
continue this relationship until you are ready. Like, but
Yeah.
I am here, and I will keep showing up
Hmm.
in the ways that I can think of. But if you need more, you tell me.
Yeah. And then just like, I'm going to be here through everything with you, but this will not change
Hmm.
our friendship. Like, I am, or it might make it
Yeah.
deeper. Like, I am,
Yeah.
because even though you aren't able to, like, and maybe don't say that, but I don't know, word it in a way where it's like, I know you are probably feeling frustrated that you can't show up in certain ways. I
Hmm.
it I'm cool with it. Like, I will
Like
be
it
here on the
literally
other side.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
at all. Yeah.
Oh, and also some of
Hmm.
my friends threw me like a little dinner before pre-transplant, and they got me a cake and said, "Do kidney who dis?" And they got
Oh, I
me
love
stuff for,
it.
yeah, they got me stuff for like post-transplant, and that I mean, literally, one of my friends just grabbed a couple of books off her bookshelf and like to give me to read while recovering. So I loved that. Just like a little celebration or just like a little I see you. I'm honoring like what you're going through. And I got you this cake from Whole Foods. And it was just it was so meaningful. And I never would have thought that that would be like important to me, I guess. But to kind of just say like, I see you, like we see you and think you're pretty cool for going through this. And I don't know, here's a cake.
You are pretty cool for going through this. So I hope you enjoyed that cake.
I did.
Oh, Haley, thank you so much for sharing this. Like, and for being
Yeah,
vulnerable
thank
with
you.
us.
Yeah, of course.
Rebecca, do you want to ask our final question?
Yes, I'm going to combine two because I'm curious about two things. So, what is bringing you hope right now in this season? And then our word for season 1 is surrender. So, what does the word surrender mean to
Okay.
you?
What's bringing me hope is the idea that my life looked so different a year ago. And I think that applies to like to anybody. Is anything can change in a year or shorter. Your life can look completely different to next year or sooner. And I just think that a year can hold so much. I just have a new found love for life and people. And yeah, also my plans have obviously changed. Like I am not any sort of rough timeline as a type B person that I was kind of maybe following is just gone. I mean, I could be 40 years old with a kid. I mean, or having my first child. I mean, really, it's timelines don't matter. Your plans can change, but it doesn't make them less important. Um, just finding hope in that like anything that I thought I was going to do by now is completely different from what purpose was placed into my lap. So let things come, like be willing to be surprised. And then surrender. What does it mean to me? I guess some of that. Um, your dreams can change.
Yeah.
Also, we're in control of so little. Um, and I think there's a lot of beauty in that. Surrender to me is just not fighting what's happening and finding a way to be happy in it. Like my body is so different now and but it's my body. I'm going to find a way to love it. And I think that's surrendering is adapting how you think of things.
Thank you so much for coming on. It was so much fun, and
It was.
it's so fun to like actually just get to chat with you too and hear your
Yes.
story. And I need to come back to Wilmington and see everybody.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, you guys. This has been amazing. And thank you for letting me share my story.
Oh my gosh, of
Well,
course.
thanks for being here.
All right, love you. All right,
Love you
bye.
guys.
Love
Bye.
you.
Thanks for being here with us today. If something resonated, maybe a sentence, a silence, or a story, hold on to that. If you felt seen or stirred or simply curious, we hope you'll join us again. Until then, stay open, stay tender, and remember, there's always a seat for you at the table.